Hey crafters, welcome to Creative Moments by G and Technique Tuesday. Today is a very special card. We are going to create a beautiful card plus a card holder. Now this is going to be perfect for Mother's Day or any other special woman or girl that you love. A granddaughter, a niece, an aunt, a wonderful sister. You decide. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get busy. We're going to go ahead and make the card first. Now, I just took an 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock and I scored it at 4 1/4. This is going to be a landscape card. And stay tuned because we have a special announcement at the end. What I have done is I selected some beautiful pattern paper that I love. Now, all you have to do is find the paper that you love. Today, we are going to use for this card, Grateful Blessings and With You in Mind. So I have taken this and I wanted to have a little border. So this is the technique that I used. I cut me a piece of that beautiful pattern paper and look what I've done. I went ahead and I created my very own border by just cutting around some of those flowers. Now, I'm going to put it on the front of the mat, but I need to cut this top part off. So it really depends on what you use as your border as to how much you're going to cut off. But I can see that I need it cut off about at least right there. So let's grab a little pencil and let's just put a little mark. And that will tell me where I need to cut it off. So bring in your trimmer and let's just cut it off right there. I'm putting it so that I see that little tick mark in the guide. And I'm just going to cut it right there. Now, when I lay this down, it's going to look like a border. Look at that. Do you see that? Oh, so pretty. So let's go ahead and lay this down. Now, you can use wet glue. You can use a tape runner. I'm going to use wet glue so that I can wiggle. So let's just put the glue because we want to make sure and not get glue down here. So I'm going to put the glue on top of our flap. Now remember, this is a first mat. So I cut this at 4 by 5 1/4. So we have a little margin that's going to go around. So we want to make sure that our margin at the top is the same as what is on the side. So look at that. Look how pretty that is. And so easy, right? All we needed was some patterned paper. Now look at the next thing we're going to do. We're actually going to put a coordinating color. Look at that. I had to bring in my stripes, right? So we're going to lay that down on the inside of our card. And once again, that is just a first mat. Our first mats are typically 4 by 5 1/4. So we're just lining it up. I've used wet glue so that I can wiggle it around. Oh, now look at how pretty that looks. So quick and so easy. But we need a place to write. You can write on the back because this is a cream colored card. But I also cut a little piece of paper right here. And it's going to hide under this flap. And this allows us to write a little sentiment there if we want. We're just going to line it up again, making sure that we have the same border at the top and on the sides. And we can't see it. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. And so simple to create, right? Now, what we've done is we have just put some mats together and we stamped this sentiment. We're just going to put it right on the top of this. So let's go ahead. Now I'm going to use my tape runner because I really don't need it to wiggle. Just need it to get right on there and stick. I'm going to use wet glue on the back of this though, because I might need to move it and just adjust it. So let's go ahead and do that. So now I am using the side right here as a guide to make sure that it's straight. Look at that. And we have our card already. This is just a great technique that you can use to create your border and make it look so elegant, but you really didn't do anything but use the pattern paper. Once again, we let that pattern paper do the work for us. So we have our card, but remember I said that we are going to create a card holder. Now, make sure you stay with us because I'm going to show you another card holder at the end, and we'll make a card to match it. But right now we're going to use this paper, and I have selected a coordinating color. So I'm going to take this cardstock, I'm going to bring in my trimmer. Now we're going to make the card holder, and I'm going to extend the arm on this trimmer, and we're going to cut it at 9.5 by 8.5. And we know that this is already 8.5, so we're going to turn it and cut this at 9.5. And now while we have it in our trimmer, just like this, we're going to score at 4 3/4. And that's going to give us our middle of this card holder. We have it scored right in the middle, just like that. Now we want to turn it on the short side, and we are going to score at 6 inches. This is a fantastic card holder, and it's so exciting to create this for all the upcoming holidays. We have Mother's Day, we have Father's Day, and then we're going to move into the fall holidays. So this is an easy but quick card holder. Now, the next thing we want to do, I want you to look at this area right here. You see these two areas right on the bottom. We are going to put this corner into the canal and then rotate it down to this middle score line. So make sure that you have the tips right there in your canal. Once you have that, go ahead and slice. And we've cut a diagonal. So easy, right? Now we're just going to put this bottom tip up to the top score line, and we're going to cut another diagonal. And there we have it. Now look what this becomes. You fold this up, bring in your bone folder, give this a really good crease, and then we're going to fold over. And this becomes our card holder. Now all we need to do is decorate. And you're going to see in just a moment how the cards stay inside this card holder. It is so much fun. So the next thing you need to do is create a cover for this. And so what we're doing is we're keeping it very simple. We're just going to cut a first mat. So the front of this right here, our mat, needs to be 5 3/4 by 4.5. Now you can double mat it if you want, but I'm going to just do one mat, so it's 5 3/4. Now this is directional, so you want to make sure and cut your column first. So this is going to be 4.5. By 5 3/4. And it's going right on the front of this card holder. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Now let's go ahead and do our next step, which is bringing in some ribbon. Now this ribbon we are going to put right under this mat. So what we want to do is we want to just fold it over our card, get them lined up to where you have the same amount right here, and we're just going to put it in the middle of the card. The middle is about right here. You can always measure it. I'm using my grid right here on my table to find out where it is. And what we need to do, we just need to put some tape here. Now you can use tear and tape or you can use a tape runner. I'm just going to use a tape runner. Just going to go all the way across. Just like that. I'm going to bring this back over. Put it right on the tape. Now flip it to the back and let's go ahead and just put a piece of tape right there as well. So just run your tape runner. Just like that. And now we have it. We can add our front mat. Look how pretty that is. And I'm going to use some glue. Now you can really jazz this up if you want. You could use an embossed piece of cardstock. But we're just keeping it simple and we're letting this beautiful pattern paper do all the work for us. Look at that. Now, what we have done here is we're just going to put a beautiful sentiment. So, tap, tap, tap. And I have cut this flower to match. Look at that. We're going to add that. But let's set this up on some dimensionals. Just right there. We're just creating a little border at the top and the bottom. And now we're going to bring in our flowers and add them as close as we can, and we'll just cut the excess off. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of tape. And when you put it on, you can leave this off, but you'll need to cut this little tip off right here. So let's go ahead and just add this with some tape. I'm going to put it right in the center. Now, this is our card holder, and you can stop there. You can just add your card. Just like this. We have another one that I'm going to show you at the end. You close it and you just tie it in a little bow. Or you can do something a little more special if you want to. And you can cut some triangles to go right here just to make it a little more decorative. Let's do that just for some fun. And I'm cutting these 4.5 by 2 1/4. And now what we need to do is look at this card holder. We're going to put it right here, and because we cut it smaller than this area, it's going to give us a border. So what we need to do now is cut from the top left down to the bottom right. Look at those corners, get them in the canal and slice. Then we can just add this just like that. Oh, look how pretty that is. Now on this one, you can tell that we need to cut from the right side down to the bottom corner. So let's do that. It's just opposite corners on these rectangles. So we've jazzed this up just a little bit. Let's go ahead and lay this down. I'm going to use some wet glue just so that I can reposition it if I need to. And because we cut it a little smaller than this area, we have that really nice border all the way around it. So we have this card that slips in. Stay tuned to the end because we have another card to show you that goes perfectly with this. Here it is, and I'll turn it over at the end. But let's go ahead and make another card. We are going to take a red piece of cardstock, and we have cut it at 8.5 by 5.5, and we've scored it at 4 1/4. This one's going to be a portrait card. We're going to bring in a first mat. We're going to jazz this one up a little bit because this is for a very special occasion. Mother's Day, or you're honoring your sister or your aunt or granddaughter or niece. I'm sure I forgot someone, but any woman that is special in your life. Now look at what we did on this one. We embossed it using that hibiscus embossing folder. Isn't that gorgeous? So let's go ahead and lay that down. And these cards are very easy. We just have some layers on them, and we've jazzed it up, of course, with some flowers. We're just going to lay that down just like that. Now, because this is 3D, you want to make sure and really get the glue in there. Now, on the inside, I created a little mask so that I could stamp some of these cute little flowers. And we're going to use Flirty Flamingo and Real Red. So let's go ahead and stamp our flowers right here in the corner. We are using this Happy Hibiscus. Now, it's a double stamp, so we are just going to use for the background the Flirty Flamingo. So tap, tap, tap. Just going to put a little flower there. Just in case I needed to stamp over each other, I created that mask, but I don't think I'm going to need it. Now we're going to stamp the definition. Just going to line that up. Look at how pretty. It's very easy to line up. And now we need to stamp a little message in here. I'm going to leave that open. You make me smile. How pretty is that? So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put that right down on the inside of our card. But we are not through decorating this. We are going to stamp some flowers. And now we have our flower stamped. So we're just going to now use the Real Red and stamp our definition. So tap, tap, tap. Look at your flowers. Perfectly stamped. Now we are ready to go ahead and decorate this. We have stamped Thinking of You, and we're going to put it right in the center. And we're going to set it up on some dimensionals. Okay, we have cut out our flowers. And this one we're going to put just like this. Put a little bit of tape. Okay, and here we have our card. Are you ready to see the card holder for this one? First, let me show you another card that we made. Look at this. Now, this one has some gems in it. Let's put some gems right here. So here are our two cards. Sent with love, thinking of you. You make me smile. Just perfect. But are you ready to see the card holder that we created? Look at this. We jazzed it up. And we added some embossing on this. Look at how pretty that is. You just undo this ribbon. Now, this doesn't have the jazzed up part on the inside. We kept it simple. You add your cards. You can give this as a gift. Look at this. And then you just tie your bow back. And look at this. The cards stay perfectly. It is a perfect keepsake. Now let's look at the other one. We've created this one. We have this beautiful card. And here's the other card we made. Now what's so unique about this one is we did some double embossing. I don't know if you can see that, but we embossed it with the butterflies. And then we ran it through and embossed it with the swirls. So pretty. Have a lovely day. And there we have it. You just slip it in and you have a beautiful card holder for that woman that is special in your life. Let's look at these again. Take a moment and leave a comment. Which is your favorite? These cards are very simple to make. We just jazz them up. But these card holders are just beautiful and so easy to create. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We hope that you were inspired by these beautiful cards and this wonderful keepsake gift card holder. Remember, I said we were going to have a special gift for you. So we have a free download with all these measurements for you. Check below this video for the PDF. Well, we hope you take a moment and like and share this with your crafty friends to help us grow, because we sure do appreciate you and enjoy so much spending time with you. Well, until next time, Maudie and I wish you lots of creative moments. Bye-bye.